Hey guys, how are you doing? And thank you everyone for participating, in the sub chart request, which we do every now and then, once a weekish. Many charts today, a lot of silver and gold, of course. Also some uranium and a little bit of a miscellaneous, stuff. I will give my opinion. Some charts, we will quickly skip. I'm going to show it, but we'll skip them. But we're going to keep them somewhat simple. There is a lot of one-liner charts in this one here, actually. So you can just, again, you can see how, the one-line breakout, if it's a very long breakout, can just be so simple, so easy, and you can actually do it really well. Good. Before we go, mega uranium, boom. I added a little bit today here. That's a good breakout. I like that. Weekly breakout as well. Bollinger Band expanding on the weekly. Let's see what it does. But I like it. I added a little bit, as I said before on mega here. Good. Let's start with Cardinal. Good old Cardinal. Again, we're not going to spend a lot of time what happened in the past because we're going to go through like 30 charts. It's going to be like an hour-long video. So we will just go through what is happening now and the outlook, right? The outlook of it. Cardinal, again, this was back, we had a breakout there, back test, grinding it higher. For now, it looks really good. Would I be buying it here? Again, I would have been buying, I haven't bought it, but that's where I would have been buying it. Bit of a rising wedge here, so, but overall, it still looks good to me. It is still in, stage 2, so I still like it there. For Cardinal, if you're long, by all means, remain so. CNQ, Canadian Resources Limited. Big breakout here. Well, decent breakout here. Bit of a back test, rally, expanding wedge, back test. So it's very clear the level here. We have 3 touches above here. 1, 2, 3. Anything north of, I will say, let's find the level here just to get a clear one. Like 45 seems very good to me. Very, very good. And you can have your stop below like 40. If it breaks down now, you can have a stop below 40 and you should be good to go. This should take us into all-time highs and potential resistance, 75-ish potentially. So that one there, 45, cool. Tudor Gold has actually had quite a run and is already up 50%. But look at this legacy here, neckline, back testing many times. We're sitting here again. Do we cross it? I believe so, given the fact we have just been breaking a massive 4 or 5 year downtrend this week. Boom. Tudor Gold looks really strong. Could you buy it here? Yes. But again, I would prefer if we get this little bit of a pause here and then you break out. We don't know if we will get that, of course, but if you see that, let's say you want to wait and you see a little bit of a stalling here for the next, basically September, you buy into that breakout and you have the stop below that, whatever pattern you get. But it looks really good here for Tudor Gold. By the way, look at that neckline, target hit there. That is incredible. Basically to the tick back in the day. I wasn't involved, but again, this here, picture perfect neckline, breakage, boom, target. Insane, isn't it? Yeah, well, 5 year downtrend breakage looks good to me. It looks pretty darn good. CMM here was one of the difficult ones for me initially when I looked at it, but I started to see some patterns. Again, sometimes you have to look a little bit, but I think I have gotten a level where this actually is not the worst, right? 30 year breakout potentially happening once we cross, let's call it 0.6, 0.55, thereabout. We're breaking a 30 year downtrend. 30 years. That is quite astonishing. We do have a little bit of a upsloping here, you can see it like that. So I think when we break, let's call it 0.6, we go to basically just north of 1 rather quickly. And I wouldn't say that is the top, but that would be like my first target, 1.10 thereabouts. But a 30 year downtrend break Again, if you divide that by 7, that is a good default timeline for you to be long. As a default, of course, but you divide it by 7 and you have a pretty good trading, period, you can say, after the breakout. So yeah, 0.6, man, and this one is breaking some heavy stuff. This one here, I tried to chart. One thing I'm noting here, again, I'm not a huge fan by any means, is this expanding stuff here. If you can buy it down here at roughly 4 cents, thereabout, and you want to be long on this one here, I would be buying it there. I wouldn't play with the stop. I would keep it small, and I would see where it takes us. That is how I would do it. If you want to wait for some sort of downtrend breakage, I would put that one on. And then again, if you tag here and you break the red, which then will happen at roughly 8 cents, give or take, then you can take that breakout. Keep it small. It's a small stock, very volatile. Again, you can see it's down from basically 1.3 down to basically not 0, but you get the idea. It's down 95% or so. But I would be buying it at 4% and 4 cents, and or if you break that downtrend, that would be your ticket in. Again, if you want to get involved in that one, that's how I see it. So TMM here looks pretty darn good. Again, here we had a huge flag here. I wouldn't buy it here, don't get me wrong, but it looks good. You had a breakout here, multiple back tests, and then you finally cleared that high there at roughly 0.7. Boom. Again, target is still roughly the highs up here. The next target, 2.225. Maybe we get to 2, maybe 3 here. But any pullback, any stall, whatever, any setup on the shorter time frames. Again, we are now on the weekly, so if you drop down to the 2 hourly, right? You drop down to here, whatever you get here, that is your ticket in, right? I like a bit of a longer pause, so let's say we break down from this, bit of a rising wedge here. Well, not rising wedge, but it is what it is. Let's say we start to do something like that, right? And you break. That would be your ticket in. So you buy any bullish consolidation, and you buy the breakout of that. Again, personally, I would not buy it here, but it looks pretty darn good. Again, it's all about risk and reward. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you risk while you make that thing there. So this one here is up to debate if that is 1, 2. Typically, you get the trend line confirmed, the importance if you have 3 touches typically. So, but it looks good. I'm a huge fan, really, but I'm not buying it. Energy Fuels has had a monster comeback. $3, and now we are at 12 in basically a blink of an eye, right? What is that? 6 months or so. My target remains actually still close to that triangle high. Yeah, and I've actually been saying that for a few years, but this one did give us a little bit of a kick in the face while breaking down here, because that was our initial wedge breaking down. That was rough. That was really, really rough. But the measured move to me is actually still 60, $70 here, depending on how we get there, because there also could that be a head and shoulder. I will say yes, even though I would have liked the left shoulder to be bigger compared to now. Here you can see the imbalance. So you could actually also get some pretty insane targets, all-time highs potentially. So, but I'm massively bullish. I'm hugely long. I have my entire position from 2. Again, we rallied to roughly 12, then gave it all back. Wow. Again, mentally, that will test you. But now we're back here above the triangle high, above everything basically. It looks very, very good long term. And yes, there will be pullbacks that will make us, will give us a lot of pain. But the long term view, I'm a happy camper. I really am. UEC here on the monthly now, all-time highs. This one here is tricky. You can't, again, at least from what I do, it's difficult to get an entry in that, even though this one here is perfect, and that is also what I bought back in the day. I have scaled out a little bit though, so I don't have the entire position, but I still think it's worth holding. My next target is the blue here, roughly 18. We're now at 12, so we could see 50% still before we reach some potential resistance. I'm not quite sure, because these, again, you have a pole here, then you have this flag here, right? So do you then add that to the top or the bottom side? I need to ask a friend on that one, how you do that. I think you know the guy. So SPSW, still rocking it after our entry right there, 5.3. Right, that was our entry back when platinum broke out. Downtrend break, then you started to see a bit of a lesser angle on the way out, but we needed that one to be taken out, then boom, we're long. Bit of a bull flag here, breaking higher. Ideally, if you want an entry now, what you want to look for is this flag here to make a high there, right? Then you pull back, and then you do that, because that will give you the perfect risk reward entry at some point in time. If we get that, I will of course be looking for it. That would be a godly continuation, right? This is the first leg, then you get the second leg, which will be higher, and then you get the third leg at the end there. So it has a ton of momentum, this one here. Again, if you're long from that point, roughly 5.3, it will be volatile, yes, but don't sell. Again, don't sell it here. My target remains what was said here, roughly 5.3. My target was 20. That was my, I think we're going to go to 20. And that is still my view. I still think we're going to go to 20. So, MAC here, it's not MAC Silver. It is Magnetic Resources in Australia. Very small company, but this one here, I'm not able to buy this one here, unfortunately. But if you are, and you want a small stock, right? A small gold miner, junior, you can call it whatever. Not a gold miner. It's basically like exploration and stuff, right? This one here is a prime candidate for me to be involved. If I could, but I can't, I would be buying that all day long. Anything north of, let's call it 7 cents, you're breaking a whole lot of stuff here. That massive downtrend there is broken after 1, 2, 3, 4, meaning the lower red line is confirmed. And then we have the potential resistance up here. This one could be a home run, right? We have the bottom in place, we have the breakout. So the first target for me is somewhere around 14. Actually pretty good alignment. I like that, to be honest. Roughly 14 cents, but I think it's going to go higher. But from the bottom structure, it points to 14 cents. But I think we're going to, again, if we can start to, this one could, I say could, go to 1.2. I say could, don't, again, this is very greedy. But if we play the red, you know, and this one really gets going, in 2 years' time, you could sell this at 1.2. But you will feel a lot of pain along the way, because this one will have 50% pullbacks easily. So, pass here. You can see some old doodles. I will remove it, boom, and I will use one line basically. You will get a massive entry here, potentially. We don't know if it's going to happen, but it seems like what we're setting up for is a 20-year head and shoulder. What we prefer is that we tag it here, pull back, which again, we're getting a little bit stretched here. Get a pull, roughly 40, we pull back to 32, whatever, you know, thereabouts, and then you break. You buy the breakout above 40, you have a stop below basically 30, risking 25%, but also this could be a home run from another dimension. This one could go to 300 bucks. I say could because we don't know, but it could go to 300 bucks really. Again, this is kept very simple, but really good risk reward here. Let's add it in here very briefly. It will be, well, it will be something like you go along here, stop will roughly be there, 300. Again, this is the greedy target, and by greedy I mean if we are lucky enough to get there and you take this entry, don't overthink it, just get out. You've done so well. It doesn't even matter what happens after that. You've done so well. 40% risk reward basically is what we're targeting. Maybe 35, but again, very good risk reward, and that's all we need. So pass here. Also, if you're long now, I wouldn't be selling it. Not on the pullback. Don't overcomplicate things. I would be long as well. Still, even though we might get that 20% pullback, I wouldn't care at that point in time, because overall long term, this smells like a breakout of a neckline that will take you 3 digits and beyond. Good. HBM here. I think that's copper. Looks fantastic, right? Looks absolutely gorgeous. And we called it there, you know, roughly $10 here. The breakout of multiple things here, a bit of a bull flag as well. That's your long, and the target was initially roughly 11.5 here, the big parallel, but we've been breaking out from that as well. So Hod Bay Minerals, if you're long, by all means remain. So again, would I be buying it here? No. Do I think it will go higher? Yes. Again, it sounds counterintuitive, but again, we need the risk in order to get in. Any bullish structure on the lower time frames will be a buy in my view. You could backtest the yellow. That could be a buy, right? So bullish mindset means you look for bullish patterns to take you in, right? You don't blindly buy here. Again, there were options at like 9 where we mentioned it, but you get the idea. Risk reward, very important. Good. STK here, Strickland on the Australian one here, 300 million gold and silver. I'm actually quite a fan here, even though I can't buy it. I think this actually is turning up rather nicely. Big. What does that look like? I'll give you 5 seconds. To me, that look, well, 1, 2, 3. To me, this looks like gold just before breaking out of 2075. Very similar. Head and shoulder with a flag at the end, right? Just before breaking out. So this here would have been your sniping entry, roughly 9 cents. But okay, we're late. Well, late compared to that entry. So what we would do if you were to get in, I will say anything north of like 18 cents, meaning neckline broken, downtrend broken, which you also could qualify as a larger head and shoulder. Anything north of 18, that's your entry. That is your entry. Tungsten, yeah, it's actually a stock that I've been following for quite a while for some, well, anyways. I like it here. Again, anything north of 8 cents there was really good. Now we're having some head and shoulders as well. I think this is going to go higher. I would be buying it here back at 8 if we get that move, and or a break of the neckline basically above 1.3, 1.4 up here. That's your long for this one here. Tungsten is a metal I think will perform really well. It's a small stock. It's only 30 million. You know the deal. But this one to me looks good. Also look at the flag break here, right? If we are gonna, I mean, this one could do wonders. If we really get that move right, the measured move. Again, greedy target. You sell it all if you get there, but this truly has some good potential with a lot of volatility. You know the deal. SVE here. I like it there. I would buy it there. Again, 100 million. We're breaking this one here. And SVE is actually a stock we have been monitoring, but we removed it. But we might want to add it in, don't we? I think we're going to do that. Because this internal break here, to me, seems like we're going to go to the triangle high at 50 cents, which we basically hit almost. But then look at that potential outlook, right? We're getting the vibes of what we want to see. And this to me could actually bring in a huge breakout for SVE. But if you want to get in here, I would start to buy a little bit here. Easily. Easily, yes. 2.0, funky chart. But again here, the uptrend, right? Back from basically 10 years ago. Swing here, getting back above. Again, false breakdown, plus breaking the wedge to the upside. I like it here. Maybe a teeny weeny stretched short term, but if you don't really care, if you pull back a little bit, you can easily buy it here. You can easily buy it here. But could we see, you know, some resistance here coming, you know, pulling back a little bit and then go? Yeah, sure. If you don't want to buy it here, the level to clear, and hopefully we get a little pause, but the level to clear is 1.5, 1.52 basically. That to me seems more upside, but it looks really darn good. It really does. And imagine if we break the ceiling here. Again, what a fake out that was, right? But imagine if we start to break 3.7 here. Boom. Vibes again, potentially head and shoulder. Yeah, to some degree. I like it. I really do. It's gonna do really well. WGX. This was actually a line that I had on for like a previous, showing. And it did break roughly 3 here, and now we are at 3.4. It looks good. Look for longs, any pullback, any bull flag, anything. That's your ticket in. Big market cap company. So, but again, I wouldn't buy it here. It's late. But any pullback, let's say we get a back test. If we do, that would be a gift, right? So, but I don't think we will, given the nature of gold and silver now. But if you're long, by all means, remain so. Looks good to me, even though we have very little data. This one here, basically a one-liner, but I added the golden because it has a lot of meaning. Very big downtrend, and whatever happened here, I don't know. Right? Seems like some sort of fakey stuff, news, could be whatever. But we are breaking it here again. This is roughly 100 million, and I would buy it here again. A little bit late, the entry was 40 cents, we are now at 46. It shouldn't mean a whole lot, but you can see here we're breaking this wedge, right, which is combining also the golden. This one has a lot of room to run. I like it here. I would buy it here easily. And this is on the New York Stock Exchange TRX Gold. I would buy it here and just sit on it, see what happens. Yeah, easily. GLDG, perfect parallel, by the way. And look at the internal break. I wish I've seen this ticket before, but haven't been following it. That was one of the good ones. I wouldn't say that got away, but the risk reward here is phenomenal. I love that every day of the week, right? We go long there, stop below here, target there. 14 to 1. Beautiful. Again, I wouldn't buy it here, given we are very stretched. Could it keep going with minor pullbacks? Absolutely. But again, then we don't get in. It is what it is. But I will follow this one here, and hopefully we get some sort of freaky stuff here to take us in, to take the next leg up at some point in time. Or it will start higher. We don't know, but oh man, that was so good. That was a really clean entry. And again, if I would have seen this, I would have said you buy it here, just like that is what we try to get in on. This is not in hindsight view, even though we have up 50% or so, but we would have taken that, or at least said, hey, you want to buy here. Looks really good. If you're long, remain so. Eloro Resources is struggling a lot compared to other gold stocks, right? Basically it is trying, but this breakout here from what is basically almost like a perfect bull flag back in August 2023, that was a big blow to the stock here. And I was actually long, and I can't remember, I didn't sell on the way down. I sold on this here somewhere. I cut my losses and lost 50% or so. And yes, I should have sold it there, but again, we're all humans. So it's trying. Again, you can see it's trying to put in a bottom, but volume here is very high, and it doesn't take much for this to break down more so. Reasons, I don't know. Gold and silver, and miners are in a raging bull market. It could be the fact that people realize that, hey, they gotta take some money in order to fund their projects. Could be. We don't really know. So we don't want to break down here from the golden hero again. But also you can see we're making some higher highs and higher lows, but it's very, very iffy as of now on Eloro. So scary, bit of a bear flag there. So scary stock. It doesn't mean it can't do, go higher, of course, but yeah, it's scary. OCG, oh yes, one of our favorites. Again, we bought it heavily down here at roughly 0.33. Actually, 33 cents has been an entry on many stocks lately. That's funny. But anyway, This is a 20-year downtrend breakage with a wedge at the end. With we've just broke 3 major stuff here at like 33 cents, and we are long, and we're going to remain long for a long time. That is my view as of now. Next target to me is the triangle high, 90 cents. Then we see what happens, but it looks godly. I love everything that I see here. Sit and hold. Don't get into the whole day-to-day business, maybe even week to week. Shouldn't really matter much. But again, if you want to look, just look at it every Friday at the close and see where we are on the weekly. I'm a huge fan. I'm heavily invested into it. Let's see where it takes us, right? MILI, Military Metals Corp. I tried to do my best here, but it's so funky. But we did have a bit of an uptrend break there at roughly 50 cents. And we have a funky breakdown kind of thing where we go sideways. I will say anything below 40 seems to me, I wouldn't say game over, but it should cause a big drop. And anything north of like 60 cents seems to be good. But the whole stock itself, yeah. Again, not a huge fan. Speaking of being a huge fan, Denison Mines. It is about to break into, have we done it already? We have we? Yeah, we have. Look at this, boys and girls. We are at 15-year highs. I am long. I have been for 5 years, 5 years long on Denison. So it's nice to, again, roughly 60 cents. And now we are at 2.4. Amazing stuff. It has been tricky, but if we can get going here, we have the red target up here at like 4.5 or so, which coincides with this high here. And I've been saying that 4.2 is a big level because that is the big bull trap high back in the day. That is a big target for me. So yeah, let's see where it does. Again, could we see a little bit of a dribble there? I guess that is still possible. Then you have the vibes, but overall really strong uptrend. Maybe too strong short term that we might be a little bit scary, but I'm trying to readjust that because back in the day I would have been really a bit scared there. But I'm again, until I see any damage and we hold the highs here, it looks incredible. It looks really good. Again, not a typical, how to say this again, I just need to think. I rarely take entries after such a big run, even though it's actually quite a hefty breakout as of now. But I rarely take them because I want the compression or the pause before we get in. And this to me here seems a little bit too wild. It can easily be done, but I also, again, yeah, I think you get the idea. But I do believe this one to go higher. But again, this one for me is more of a buy than, this kind of expanding volatility kind of thing. So I think you get the idea. Oh, an old drawing here of Aya Gold. You can see the entry and the point there, 14 and above, and you can go long. Can you buy it here? Yeah, I don't think we have gone that far. But overall, I really fancy Aya Gold. Uptrend, fully intact, right? Bit of a bull flag kind of thing going on here with some Trump stuff here, the tariff. Breaking higher, cool. Maybe, again, a bit of resistance here at this double top. But ultimately, I think it's going to break out and actually go to all-time highs and then do whatever it's going to do. But right now, very bullish Aya Gold. LLJA. I don't know if this is the correct exchange, but I've seen this before. This ticker, but I think it had another name before on the Canadian. Again, please correct me. But I will say the uptrend there is okay-ish. We only have one on top, but we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom side. Therefore, I assume, or expect that if we get there, it's a long way, that would be resistance. So we don't really, worry too much about that for now. This to me here, if we can start to break this yellow and break out from the red, roughly 1.1, that is a massive entry. And you can have your stop below the golden all the way up, basically. At least initially, right? For the first few months. You can have that stop there. But it seems like we are doing some sort of funky cup and handle here. 1.10. If you're aggressive, you take it at roughly 0.93, right? You take this break of this little funky flag here. But personally, I would wait. And then you go. 1.10 roughly seems to be the level where we break the highs from here, here, and then we have the cup and handle complete, and then you go higher. A measured move, boom, maybe 15. I did this quickly, but roughly 14, 15 initially seems like the level to go through. I will, if we get the trigger, I will, do that more precisely. Good. Man, long video, but a ton of good setups actually. Gold and silver stocks is blasting on all cylinders, and any bullish structure pullback is almost a buy on any stock in gold and silver. Almost. Not in Eloro, by the way. It's still, but almost. Again, one-liner, very simply, small stock here. Again, boom. If you want to get into the small stock, you just have to buy here, small position. I wouldn't play with a stop, right? But it's going to go higher. Are you too late for it now? Yeah, I mean, this one has run over 100%. Again, buy any little, you can see here, this is like the daily stuff. Any little structure that you get, that is your ticket in. Back test here. So if we get a bit of a bull flag here, yeah, you buy that continuation. Looks really good. If you're long, by all means, as I say, remain so. Bravo. This one is also some drawings that I did like a few weeks ago, months ago. And I'm not interested in Bravo until we clear this little rail here. Basically clearing like 3.6 roughly. So we need roughly 20% or more. If we clear that, then the yellow is in play and we are actually in a huge uptrend. But for now, I wouldn't do much. Could we be, I'm just going to check some internal stuff here. Could there be something there? No. No. No, I would want to wait for the rail here to break at roughly 3.6. That would be your ticket in. And you can have the stop loss initially below that yellow here, right? Below that yellow bad boy seems to be your exit plan initially. If we break here, we could go and see 6 point something here on Bravo. So that is not too shabby. I have nothing more. All these stocks very green today. Hopefully that continues tomorrow, right? Remember, I've added to Mega Uranium today on that break. I've done previous analysis on Mega. I think this is a really good spot to add. Hopefully we are correct, right? We don't really know, but hopefully we are. I want to add one though. I want to add that one there. Have we been breaking that also? Barely, but we will keep it on just as, as a reference. That was it. A lot of stocks. Thank you very much for the participation. I hope you got what you wanted. Otherwise, comment to the post. Not by email, but you can comment on the post and then I will see it. Have a great day, guys. Cheers and bye.